You are now watching Geeked Up Paranormal.
Welcome back, Paranormal Geeks, the Geeked Up Paranormal Podcast. My name is Brennan, and here with us today is Amber from Amber's Paraworld. Now, Amber is a physical medium who can see, feel, and hear spirits as well, channel past loved ones for people. She documents her paranormal research and experience on her YouTube channel, Amber's Paraworld. So if you haven't already, go follow her, hit the subscribe button, and she also has a TikTok with nearly over 30,000 followers. So if you have a TikTok, go follow her on as well as on TikTok. Her links will be down in the description. So, Amber, what is since you're a medium and so on and so forth, what is your paranormal beliefs?
Well, the main thing that I've figured out is that spirits get like a bad rap from TV shows, and everybody assumes that if a door closes or something moves, that it's a demon, and it's not. Sometimes they just want attention, they just want their stories told. I've very rarely ever encounters, something negative. And the times I did encounter, like, go to places that had demons, they didn't like want me to like stay with them or nothing.
Yeah. Did when you went to those places, were you interacting with them or was you like staying away?
No, I was talking to him. It was
Okay.
at Bobby Mackey's. I went there. I love that place.
A lot of
I had
people
kind
love
of a
that
bad
place.
experience at the end, but I would still go back.
I don't know if this is supposed to be a secret or nothing, but the Ghost Brothers are about to be filming there at Bobby Mackey's.
Yeah, I think the spirits they're like they do better if you're in smaller groups. If
Yeah.
there's like a bunch of people, you're not going to get as much because
No, they're going to jump around from people to people to see who's
Mhm.
there, what's going on. You know,
Yeah,
yeah, I
we had a good
completely
group of people.
understand that.
Yeah, we had a group of people. Well, there was a bunch of us actually. Um, one of my friends and her sister-in-law and their husbands went, and then it was like me and my mom and a good friend of mine and my aunt. My aunt stayed kind of off to the side, and it was kind of me and my friend, and we kind of stayed together. And then my other friend and her sister-in-law and the husband, they all went like downstairs while we were upstairs. Like we kind of separated. I got a ton of like evidence and videos. I've got shadow people. They were probably the demons that I got on video. And my friend that had the 4 people with her, she had an EVP recorder rolling the whole time and didn't get anything other than maybe a yes or no. She's like, that place wasn't all it's cracked up to be. And I'm like, this place was awesome. Everybody
Yeah.
has different experiences, and that's anywhere you go, really, though.
Yeah, well, when me, Bobby, Nicole, Jax, Boots, and my wife went to Bobby Mackey's, they said they didn't get much, and me and my wife was getting a lot, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, I think it jumped around. Like what was there was jumping around between all 3 of us because we were like in 3 different groups, and as
Mm-hmm.
we walked around, it was jumping, from one to the other. And I think actually Hensley was affected by that negative entity at Bobby Mackey's from when he climbed in the well, and he's even got EVPs from it, which was wicked.
Did he
And
take that negative experience home, or did it kind of stay there?
I, I actually think it. I don't know if he took it home with him. I don't know if it followed him specifically home, but I know that he had an effect uh afterwards from us being there because I mean he got depressed
Yeah.
and sick and stuff. And so I don't know if it followed him or if he necessarily had an experience there and it that lingered on with him,
Mm-hmm.
because that's another thing. Like I feel like some people do go to these places and interact with evil entity, and that uh, their experience there has a negative effect that lingers on with them, and they think that uh, the spirit or entity followed them home, when it's just like, I guess, like the lingering effect of
Mm-hmm.
what happened while they were there.
Energy there, yeah.
Yeah.
I was
But
kind of
no,
disappointed I couldn't find the well there. I looked out back and it was train tracks. I'm like, where's it? Like that water that
that
not the
tunnel,
well, but the tunnel. Yes,
yeah, that supposedly goes to that well.
yes, I
Yeah.
couldn't find.
Yeah, you gotta go like, all right, so if you're at the I guess the entrance to the basement, literally just take a right, go over the railroad tracks, and you gotta go down in the woods, probably about, I wouldn't even say 50 yards down, not even that far. And then just take a left, and like if you walk, you'll end up seeing the well, because there's like a ditch line that goes to the water. And if you like, once you hit that ditch line, just look left. I doubt you'll have to walk up much, but just look, it's to the left.
Okay.
You'll see it. So next time you go, and hopefully next time you go, somebody that's been there can take you and show you that little
Yeah.
spot.
Yeah, it was like a 4-hour drive for us. We did it all one day, so.
Yeah,
But it was fun.
yeah. So, oh man, you can see and hear spirits, correct?
Yes. If they wanted to talk to me, some of them will choose not to.
Yeah, I understand that.
Yeah.
How do you like see them as like, do they it, how do they appear to you, like visually? You know what I'm saying?
Sometimes yeah, majority of the time I get images like just in my head, but sometimes they'll show me themselves like full on. There was a time, it was I think it was early last year. Me and Tim and my daughter had went to Buffalo Wild Wings and we're just sitting there, and I turn around and there's this dead guy just standing there, like right beside me, and I screamed really loud, and everybody stared at me, and then he was gone. But sometimes they do that, but sometimes I'll just get images or I'll hear them, and they like to make me feel how they passed away. So if somebody was like really sick when they died, I'll feel really nauseous, or if they had a heart attack, my chest will start hurting. So sometimes I'm in the position where I'm out in public and I have no choice but to walk up to somebody and be like, hey, who's this person that, passed away this way, because they're with you and they you know, want you to have a message. That makes me nervous. I'm just now getting to
Yeah.
where I'll go up to somebody, because some people you can tell by looking at them that they're not going to talk to you. So.
Yeah. See, when it comes to that, it's a lot of people don't believe in that, and or if they do believe, they're scared of it. And that's another thing about, I mean, I ain't trying to talk about me. This is a podcast about you. But with
You're fine.
me, I believe a lot of people are scared of the paranormal, and they shouldn't be, like of spirits, of human spirits. Because, like, I mean, yeah, they could physically harm you, and they have physically harmed some people, but that's like a shirt tug, a pinch, maybe a scratch,
Mhm.
but it's not really negative, unless I guess you really piss them off. But like, people are scared of it because they can't see it or interact with it. And to me, it's like, hey, they're here. There's really no reason to be scared of them, because half the time they're probably around you and you don't even know it.
Yeah, if people would just kind of embrace that and just take things for what it is, if they feel something, see something, get that intuition and trust it. Like, I think that a lot of people would be happier because they could communicate with someone they've lost, or, kind of figure it out, tell them hi. But they kind
Yeah,
of, a lot of people do run from it, and they don't want to acknowledge it. Yes, you're right.
yeah.
It
I
happens
mean,
a lot.
our body and our like aura and stuff. It's like a REM pod. Once
Hmm.
something breaks that barrier and whatnot, like, our body's gonna react to it. You're gonna
Hmm.
feel something, or something might happen, or so on and so forth. It's like we're a receiver, and it's I guess, how someone receives that information in their brain, how they react with it. But I mean, it's like, I don't like getting political, but it's like the government. They're here, we got to deal with it. We don't, you know, you got to kind of be afraid of them, but then again, it's like they're here. You just got to deal with it, and live life.
But you didn't hear
But
that from me.
but I ain't trying to get political and stuff because politics are bad. Really, they're all
Oh,
out for themselves. They're not out for the people. I don't care what a politician says. It's like Ronald Reagan said. The worst was it 7 words you can hear or 9 words is that I'm with the government and we're here to help.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's like, no, you're not. You're just gonna make things worse.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much more than like spirits too. Like, and like, there's cryptids, there's ETs,
Yeah,
and there's like the lizardarians or whatever they call them. It's a subspecies of the ETs, but there's a lot of those in the government as well.
yeah.
I do a lot of work with my dowsing rods and ask a lot of questions. Obviously, I can't make videos on some of that stuff because
Well, no, because then you're
yeah,
gonna get knocked on the door and they're gonna start asking questions and saying stuff and yeah, trust me, I know. I went down a rabbit hole and I caught myself before it got out onto the internet.
yes. But there's so
It-
many. There's rabbit holes with ETs and aliens, and there's rabbit holes with cryptids. There's so many. It's like
yeah.
it's everywhere. It's the
Well,
whole thing.
well, like I go down the rabbit hole with paranormal, but as
Mhm.
I go down the rabbit hole, like when I say paranormal, I'm just like paranormal is a wide variety of different type
Mhm.
of anomaly, I guess group of things, and I forgot where I was going with that. What was we speaking on?
About the paranormal rabbit hole.
Yeah. So like when I get into the paranormal, it's not just specifically on that thing. I also get into the science of it. And then I'm like, why are they denouncing the science of this or denouncing that this even exists, you know?
Mhm.
And then the main thing they say is, well, you can't hear it or you can't see it, so it's not there. And there's no science to prove it, but there is science to prove it, and they just don't accept said
Mhm.
science, which I think is crazy. And then like I don't and when I say I go through the science, like I'm talking about even like the mathematical science of it. You know what I'm saying? Which that tends to get my brain to hurt, which I don't like, but that's why I don't like going down rabbit holes because it gets me to thinking and and once you have
And
all
you
these
never just
questions,
like you're like,
it
what?
it just gets worse. And I'm like, this is crazy.
Yeah. And
So,
like I get this a lot too. Like people will say stuff like, like Bigfoots or Sasquatch aren't real. You're living in a fairy tale. Like TikTok is full of like trolls, and I love my TikTok people, but there's so many horrible people that go on there just to try to
even
make
YouTube,
it
even
cool.
YouTube.
Yeah.
I used to troll, but I'm a big bleed. I always bleed, but I trolled them. When I trolled somebody, it was on specific things to see how they reacted to it, to see if they was like a light, like a orb. So that's a big thing too in the paranormal world. A lot of people don't even like to comment about orbs because a lot of the times it's dust or it's a bug, and we really don't know what it is.
Hmm.
And there was this one person's live stream. I joined it and I was watching, and they was getting evidence. And then he walked out of this room, and I seen clear as day. You seen in that it was a bug because you seen the wings and you seen it like flapping because
Hmm.
the shutter speed, I guess, like on this camera, just caught it a couple times just at the right angle. And I was like, and people told him, "Hey, you just caught an orb." He went back, checked it and stuff. And he was like, "Yeah, that was an orb." I said, "That was a bug." And then I was like, "That's not an orb." And and uh and it like and then he was like, "If you don't believe in the paranormal," and this is what caused me to start trolling him, is because he started calling me skeptical and stuff. And I was like, okay, one or two things. He's either fake, which he's not. This person is not fake. That's why I'm not saying his name either. Because later on, I think he ended up going back over the evidence and was like, "Yes, that is a bug. It was just miscommunication." And at the time, I guess his computer didn't catch it, or his eyes didn't catch it.
Yeah.
But it like, and that's what caused me to start trolling people. I don't do it no more because it's like, what's the point, you know? It
yeah.
like, and the people that I did it to, like I was like, they knew of me. They didn't know I was a troll and stuff, and like we were kind of friends. Like I won't say we were friends because they don't live here, I don't live there, and it's just like I guess we was acquaintances on the internet, and we interact with each other. And at certain points, I trolled them because I mean, which I like if somebody was to troll me, I love it. I love that stuff because it makes me laugh. It gives me enjoyment. Other people I know it don't, but you know, it just brings excitement to me. Because I don't fake stuff. So I mean, if I was to fake it, yeah, I'm gonna take offense to it because I mean you're calling me out for something that I don't want people to know, but I don't fake it, so I don't care. What's the
Right.
point? You know,
Just-
have
And
fun
like
with
with
it.
Bigfoot, I've seen evidence, real evidence. I know people that have had like hair samples tested, and it comes back that it's not a creature from this planet. But then you get these people that it's not. But we don't want the government involved in that. When you're out there trying to learn about species, why do you want the government involved? Why do you
They're
want this?
already involved.
Well, they are, but you know what I mean. You know what I'm saying. Like you don't want. You're not going to go turn over everything you have and just give it to some federal
No.
bureau or something. Like no, that's
No.
not how. It's there if you want to look for it. If you want to research, it's there. The information is
Yeah.
there.
That's like with things that are going in the world today, you know, you don't go like we don't go running to the government for help, you know,
Right. You go hide
because
out in the
you're
woods
not
and
you're
and
not going
stuff.
to get the help you're looking for there. You're
Right.
just going to either make things worse or do something for you and say they helped you and it didn't do nothing.
Hmm.
It's like when people I don't know start like, well, it's not official because the government like first of all, if you think something is like 100% legit because the government put it on paper, you are like just oblivious. You know what I'm saying? It's like people are like, yeah, he used to be a police officer or, you know, a trustworthy person because he was a government official. And I keep saying he, but I'm gonna say them. I don't even know why I'm saying like gender specific, like it matters anyway. But like why does that any of that matter? Because if they're part of the government, that's 100% you can't trust because they're just going to tell you what they want you to know, and
They
that's
will
it.
tell you they want you to believe. You
Yeah,
will
believe
never
and
get the
know.
full truth. We got rid of cable probably 2 years ago, and I have not even watched the news. Like if it rains, I just look at the sky and I'm like, yeah, it looks like it's gonna rain. Like that's as far as it goes.
Yeah, that's another thing. Like a lot of people come to me about the news, and I'm like, dude, I was like, stop. That's propaganda. It's fear mongering, and that's all it's going to do. I was like, if you want to be informed, you're just going to have to do the research and like listen to them, but don't take everything they're saying for facts because they got an agenda, and that's what they're going with. It's crazy. And
Yeah.
Bigfoot, oh man, like this day still haunts me. It still gets me because it was across the street. I 100% believe Bigfoot ran behind me across the street. I heard it's like it's back to me again. It's supposed to be a podcast
You're
with
okay.
you, but so I was at all right. I live in Kentucky, Fort Knox. At the time, I lived in Muldraw, which literally Fort Knox surrounds Muldraw. Dixie Highway goes through Fort Knox, and Muldraw is the smallest, or used to be the smallest town on one side of the highway. And we was living there at the time, and there was this pond, uh, like kind of on Fort Knox property, but like it's off of Dixie Highway. And I got word that citizens can just go there and fish there as long as you got a fishing license and whatnot. So I went over there and fished a couple times, and then it was like, you know, I want to fish at night because I ain't catching anything during the day, and let's see if they bite at night. I pull up, I get everything out, I get set up, and I'm having a blast. I'll go to put a pinch in, which I do not back tobacco use at all. If you do it, stop it. I'm trying to, and don't start it if you don't do it. But I mean, I'm having a blast. You know, I'm fishing. I'm about to. I think it was my night off too, and I hear this weird, like screaming noise from afar. Um, I can't reenact it, but it wasn't of human or of our wildlife type of scream. You know what I'm saying? And it wasn't like a human scream. It was definitely of foreign nature. You know what I'm saying? And it was from afar, and I didn't think nothing of it. And then I heard it again, but it was a little bit closer. And this all happened within a period, I would say, of a minute, literally of um within a minute, because I literally grabbed my 3 fishing poles, my fishing box, my net, um, my fishing pole holders. I don't know. I had a lot of stuff with me in one swoop. I mean, I ran up to it and grabbed it all, threw it in the back of the truck, and I took off. But then I hear it, like I start hearing shit, and it kind of was like trees falling, like trees snapping, is what it sounded like. Like there was something bulldozing its way through the Fort Knox on the other side of Dixie Highway, and you didn't hear heavy machinery and stuff. So literally seconds went by, I hear it again, and it was literally across the street from where I was. So I literally swoop my stuff up, I take off, and I live literally less than a minute down. Like I could walk from the apartments to this pond, and I, as soon as my wife still knows the way I looked when I walked in the apartment, pale white, like I seen a ghost, scared to death. But yeah, because I mean I didn't know what that sound was and what it was. It scared the shit out of me. It sounded huge and big. And thinking about it after that, and at that time, it didn't occur to me Bigfoot. You know what I'm saying? Because I was like, what was that noise? And I started researching up wildlife animals around here and close by, and all of their noises, none of it came close. And then uh I started talking with people, just like, and then somebody brought it up, hey, you know, did any of the noises sound like this? And they gave me like a sound bit of a whole bunch of different kind of Bigfoot noises. And one of them sounded like one of these Bigfoot screams. And I was like, that was it right there. And he's like, well, then that's Bigfoot. And what gets me though, there's nothing that backs my story up, because I heard that. And this happened in Fort Knox, correct? Fort Knox would know if something moved through their land. So what was it? You know? And that gets me thinking. I think Fort Knox, I'm not saying Fort Knox is like Area 51, but I do think they dabble into something there. You know what I'm saying? They do
They
have
know,
that
but they're
vault.
not going to make a public announcement.
Yeah. But that's like another thing. I think I ain't saying that Fort Knox is like Area 51, but this is what make me think it's kind of like it, is they had UFO sightings literally over top of like Fort Knox, like their property. And you know, nothing came of it. Nobody knows what it was. The military ain't saying what it is. They're saying they don't know what it is, which I call bullshit.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, they didn't even, I don't know. Like they would have it on their radar. You can't tell me that the government did not track what was in their airspace. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying?
Yeah.
And then they say, well, if you fly under a certain, don't give me that you're telling me if I fly at a certain level that the military is not going to be able to tell me where I'm at. Come on now. They're going to know. They have that technology, and I know they have that technology.
They have a lot more technology than what they let anybody know. Like it's a lot more advanced.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
And then what's thing is, you out the government, they just say you're crazy and shit. and then it comes out a year later, or hell, that's like they got the big machinery that causes they can cause storms. If they want it to storm now, they can cause that to happen, and people do not believe it. And I'm like, I was like, Google it. They have these machines, and you can Google it and find that, and
There's
people are like, oh, you're
patents on
crazy.
it. Yes.
It's like,
I was just reading the patents yesterday on that.
and that's another thing that gets to me is people are so closed minded. It's like, why don't you have an open mind? To me, everything is possible. It's just you have to find out how it's possible. It's just we can't fathom it right now, I guess. I mean, I fathom it in my brain. It's just we can't physically
Same.
prove it.
I know what you mean.
But so you see the spirit as like, say, like I was to die this second. That's how I would look to you if I came to you.
Yes and no. They can. Some of them will like just be wearing like regular clothes. It just like or their favorite things. But some of them, like I had one lady. She had been murdered and she was like covered in blood. But that's not like they don't do that all the time. But like if somebody's sick, I can tell like sometimes by their face if they're sick. Or if even if they had high blood pressure, like if their face is really red. It just depends on how they wanna show it.
Yeah. So has a spirit ever shown herself one way to you and then like showed herself to you another way, like another time at another time in like different clothing?
No, not really. It's kind of just how I see. I mean, I have not noticed them doing that.
All right. See, the
I'm
reason
sure
why
they
I'm asking is because I'm also trying to. I 100% believe you. I believe mediums, uh, and I believe in your abilities because what's weird is, if I'm correct, me and you spoke before, and you told me about this man that's in my basement that don't speak, and he don't tell nobody his name. You have told me what he looked like, and that was it. He don't speak. He don't tell nobody nothing. He just enjoys my company. And what's funny is, before you told me, literally the day before, Nicole told me the same exact thing. And I was just like, I was like, at first I was like, they're talking to each other. I was like, they just have to be. And then, I texted Nicole or I messaged her. I was like, hey, did you tell anybody about what you told me? She's like, no. And I was like, okay. I said, that's all. Like, I didn't tell her, okay. But in my head, I was like, that's all I need to know. Like,
there are no coincidences.
if y'all ain't talking behind, the scenes and plotting it, then it's like the way y'all described it too. It was different. All right. So y'all described them as the same way, but in like a different way. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's say for instance, I was to describe your hair, it would be gold or blonde, and somebody else can say it's yellow or bleach. You know what I'm saying? It was
Right.
y'all described it the same way, which blowed my mind. The same exact way, said the same exact stuff, but in y'all's own way. Like to me, that I was like, okay, you know what I'm saying? So, I'm asking definitely mediums some of the same questions because I'm trying to see if you know maybe a spirit has changed its appearance as far as clothes or something.
And
And if
that
they
could be because everybody has different abilities too, the way they see things, feel things,
yeah,
and
and
that
see,
might be
like,
just how she perceives it rather than, different than me.
yeah, and I understand that a lot of mediums perceive like their abilities are a lot different. Not every not I haven't spoke with one single medium that their ability is the exact same as another.
Right.
You know? So, what I'm trying to do is ask a million different questions, and if and so far they've all been the same. Now there have been some like that's kind of been off the wall different, but these people like they are also being questioned by a lot of people. But I'm not trying to say these people are anything. I believe them until otherwise, I guess.
Mhm.
But it I'm trying to figure out how. I don't know the science of it. I'm trying to figure out the science of it. You know what I'm saying? That's
Mhm.
how the best explain it. The science of how I guess a medium can interact with a spirit, and then also on that, how the spirit can interact with us in this dimension or in this world.
Okay, you want to hear my thoughts on it? I think
Yes.
that
I
we
love
all have the ability to do this. To do this, it's what we were meant to do. But because of like social and like social conditioning, people have blocked it off.
yes.
When you're a
I
kid
mean,
and you see something and you feel something, and your mom says, "Hey, that's in your head. That's because you watched this movie." We learned that, hey, maybe that's not real, and then we start blocking the stuff off. Or, like you said earlier, you know, we watch things on TV, or they say it doesn't exist, even though you saw it in the sky, and then you really start to question yourself, and you believe that it didn't happen. So I think I got tingles on my head when I said that. My very first paranormal experience was with seeing a UFO in the sky, and I was maybe 5 years old. I still remember it. And, I spent a little bit of my childhood thinking, like, are these experiences not real, but I knew what was happening. But then, it just kind of I never completely blocked him off because, like, it just always happened. But I did go through a period where I did try to, like, not communicate with him, but they would scare me. Like, the spirits would torment me and scare me. And, it took a long time before I was, like, figuring out how to, like, control it and how to do all that. But I think everybody can do something.
yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean, all right. So what I said, I should have reworded it different. I believe that as well, because like honestly, there's a million different, I guess, theories about life and how life exists, you know, and we can't really, I guess, as of right now, prove, or I mean, we could, I guess, but it's just does people accept that, you know, as the proof or not? It's just that I'm trying to figure out scientifically, I guess, how one does perceive and can speak with the spirit. And then, like, I ain't trying to prove, like, oh man, I ain't trying to scientifically prove it. You know what I'm
I
saying?
know
That's
what I
not,
know what you mean.
because I'm not trying to be like the god of paranormal, blah, like that shit.
Mhm.
What I'm trying to do is trying to figure out like all of how this stuff works, I guess,
Mhm.
and how to make it, I guess, easier for an investigator.
Mhm.
And then because honestly, you're never like it's hard to like make someone believe in something that they don't. They just gonna have to do it
Uh-huh.
themselves. And I'm not trying to, I don't know, be the big dog of paranormal and stuff. I'm just trying to understand things
Will
and
this
trying.
will this just be audio or audio and video on it? It'll just be the audio, right?
Do you just want the audio?
Oh, I don't know. I was gonna smoke a
I was gonna
cigarette real
do
quick.
on YouTube video audio, and
Okay.
then
That's fine. That's fine. Okay.
like maybe extract the audio one day and put it on
Okay.
Spotify or something.
Yeah.
But it's just there's I don't know. I'm just trying to figure out. I'm just trying to learn. That's pretty much all I'm trying to do is learn, and then I guess create something for something that's not expensive. You know,
Mhm.
that's I guess people can easily communicate with spirits. And then also I was thinking about down, the long run, maybe figuring out how to grab, like, I guess everyday items, which there's a lot that people can do now with everyday items in their house to either make a device or be
Mhm.
able to create something to make a way of communication with a spirit or something.
I don't know if
But
you've seen that one video I uploaded maybe like a week or so ago about dowsing rods. Like, because I get a lot of
I watch
people are like, I don't believe that on dowsing rods, but I kind of just explained, like, if a spirit can make your REM pod light up, why can't they manipulate a dowsing rod? Why can't they manipulate a cup laying on your table? Like, they're all the same tool, just different kinds. It's
yeah.
all the same reason.
Well, the thing is, a lot with dowsing rods is it's a lot of people, they like to denounce it because the scientific community don't like the evidence that they're saying, that dowsing rods is pretty much a guessing game when it comes to finding water. And I'm just saying, when I've literally seen people take them dowsing rods and walk a field, and then only in that one location in that field, those dowsing rods decide to do this.
Yep. I mean, water companies use them still to this day. And there was cave drawings from 20,000 years ago they found with dowsing rods. So
Well,
there's definitely something to it.
take away like the metallic or human made dowsing rods, I should say, right?
Huh?
There's like you can get like there's certain trees that you can get a Y rod from, or like
Hmm.
the limb. It don't even have to be a Y rod. I guess it can just be like a branch, and you're just walking, and as soon as you go over that water, what does it do? It literally goes to the ground.
Hmm.
I like at first I was like, oh, they're doing that, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then like I'm watching their wrist, and their wrist ain't moving, and I'm like, okay, it's on TV, it's fake. Well, literally, I watched it happen with rods, and then the dude walks over to he's like, now watch this. He goes to his weeping willow tree, grabs breaks off like a small branch of it, and walks like around his field, and then he goes to that spot. No, he tells me to go to that spot, I should say, with it in my hand. As soon as I walk over that spot, it goes
Hmm.
straight. I'm like, okay, it's fucking crazy. Then I'm like,
Yeah.
if that does that with water, like he literally proved it to me. He's like, now if this was a 50-50 game, wouldn't the rods cross more than once in my field? And I mean, his field was like acres, like it was a big ass field, and he still hasn't today drilled in that spot yet. Because I guess he don't really need to as of right now. But if rods can do that with water, and that's easy, and and think about it. If that's just doing it when you're walking over water, like flowing water, it could be setting water. I don't know if the water's setting underground or flowing. That's just like the energy field, right?
Hmm.
Moving something. Why couldn't the spirit's energy do that? It would just be as
Right.
easy, you know?
We're all made up of energy. So
Yeah,
everything.
everything is.
Yep.
Yes. And a lot of people don't understand that. And then when you get into like rocks and crystals, I don't fully know. Like, I can't fully speak on everything paranormal. I mean, I wish I could. I wish I had that big of a brain, but we technically we only know 10% of everything, or 10% of the world. Not everybody can know everything, and I definitely don't even know probably 10% of 10%, as they're saying. But it's just I want to learn, I want to know. And I mean, I'll probably learn something today. I'll probably forget it down the road, but I'll remember it further down the road or something, or when it comes back around. But it's
Yeah.
just like and I'm very scientifically kind of driven. I mean, some things that I mean, when I do investigate, some things I wish I could do more. Like I have scientific I guess experiments and whatnot planned out in my head, but that costs a shit ton of money. So it's not going to happen anytime soon. I can't get real scientists scientific with it because it's going to cost money and like knowledge that I don't have. But far as the data that comes back from it, I could, I can read that data and, progress. But other than that, it's just, I don't know. I'm just scientifically
You need to
driven with
check out that
this.
video though that I did on the dowsing rods because I was
I've watched
in it.
it.
I was showing, like the K2 meter. I just got one recently, and I can make it go off by holding it. So how accurate can it be if my energy can set it off? You know what I mean? Like when I use it, I'll put it down on something because I don't want to manipulate the energy. And then I also have a decoration that we got from a craft store, and it's a Halloween decoration, but it's motion activated. So when it's really loud too, and I planned on taking it to like cemeteries or something, but when something walks in front of it, the eyes light up and it makes these crazy sounds. But I can manipulate that if it's dark enough. If I shine a flashlight in front of it, it goes off. So we have to look at that from like, if that's happening, what about the P&B music box? Could a quick flashlight set that off? We there's a lot of things that can be set off by our own doing and we don't realize it.
Yeah. The PMB, the music box. That so if that's set off by light, that's because it all depends on the sensor you have, I guess, in the device. Because some sensors are very, I guess, light sensitive, but then again, I mean, I know people are like, well, spirits, it'll be easier for them to trigger that and whatnot because I mean, I don't know what their excuse is, and some people like, I don't know, it's just easier to manipulate. You know what I'm saying? And like, cause oh man, you know what? Screw it. I am making my own music box, but right now I'm looking for a sensor that cannot be manipulated and that's not cost driven, like a cheap little sensor that's not I mean they're all over the internet. I also got to find one that works with, I guess, my the equipment that I'm using to build it. But I'm making my own music box, and the sensor I'm going to be using is not going to be. Hopefully, it's not going to be light sensitive. But
yes, because light can go fast enough that like when you shine it, it's movement. So
yeah,
like, and that would go for like, if there's lightning outside, that could set stuff off. And I've never used the cat balls that people are using, but in my opinion, unless you're sitting down or really still and you have those up, if they light up, fine. But if anybody's movement can transfer so easily, especially in old houses or when there's not furniture, there's other stuff going on. So it's really hard to say what's spirit and what's just our own doing that we don't realize.
yeah, and that's another thing. Like with REM pods, K2 meters, or just with meters, period, because they're all meters pretty much. Or if you want to get past that, what it really is, or a lot of them are that Thurman. They're Thurmans, is what they are. Which I probably shouldn't say that because then a lot of people are like, oh, now I'm gonna make my own device and probably make it easy to manipulate or something. I don't know, but they're like, I don't know how to explain it, but like if you shake it or move a little bit, what you're doing is you just created electromagnetic energy, right?
Mhm.
So you're gonna manipulate that device. That's like the Oculus 5. If you're shaking or not, like if you're walking, it don't really go off. But if you like jar it and shake it, it it will 100%. You can manipulate it to because what you're doing is you're creating electromagnetic energy, right? So that electromagnetic energy is going to set off the device and choose a word for it. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you can manipulate it, but you really have to shake that device.
Yeah.
But far as like K2s and REM pods, my REM pod that I have, the antenna in it. You can adjust the antenna in it, like so. Here, I got the dang on. It's not the REM pod. It's so the antenna will sit in this device, right? Like all the way down. So when I touch it down here, it would alert, right? But if I move that antenna to where the end of the antenna is up here, I can usually touch about like right here. But if I go higher up than that, it would break that. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But then again, if somebody else had the device, their antenna is probably gonna be all the way down, and when they touch their REM pod at the bottom, it will alert. So they're just gonna think mine's fake. I'm manipulating it or something. So that's another thing when it comes to like investigation. Like I'm also trying to learn things because I want to make my own devices. I want to make them cheap and I want to make them reliable and try to be make them less manipulative, I guess. So people can't. It would be very hard for someone to fake stuff with my device. Is what I'm trying to say. I mean, at first, some of the devices I make would probably be easily manipulative, but at the end of the day, it's like, I guess the person who buys it, it's on them whether if they want to manipulate that or not.
Mm-hmm.
But that's my main goal, is to, I guess, end up making a devices that is very hard to manipulate, but that is that's pretty much cheap for people to get. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm not trying to become a millionaire. I
I
love the
know some of the
paranormal.
equipment is so expensive that it's like it's almost impossible to get everything you need or you want. You don't really need it, but
The best way to do it is to build it yourself. Cheapest way. Point blank. So what I just showed you, this is actually a door hanger, right?
mm-hmm.
It hangs on the door. This ain't supposed to be cut. I cut this, but it hangs on the door, and when the door vibrates or if this vibrates, this will alarm. Well, you cut this, you attach it to the antenna. You can put lights on it if you want. And then once you attach the cords to the antenna, it pretty much becomes a thermite. So if something breaks the electromagnetic field, it'll start alarming. But here's the thing, though: if it gets vibrated or shooken or something, it would alarm. Which that's with any, I guess, like meter type device, electromagnetic meter
Mm-hmm.
type of device, because movement, you're creating electromagnetic energy, which is going to manipulate the device, point blank, period. And then the cat balls, those things are so off the fucking wall with how they're made, because they're not, all right. So all them cat balls, right? They're mass produced in a factory, or was mass produced in a factory. Probably still is, because you can buy millions of them right now if you want, for like pennies on the dollar, per one, if you was buying a massive quantity of them. So I can have two, right? And I can turn one on right now, or both of them on right now, and shake this one just this much, and it won't do a thing. Where this one, I can just do this with this one, just barely shake it, and it'll light up. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So some of them, it might take a lot to shake it. Like my ball, one of them, I actually bought two of them, and one of them was like you barely just touched it, it it would go off. And then the other one, like, you can roll it, throw it, flick it. Sometimes it wouldn't even go off. And there's like, oh, it's the battery. I even popped it up, switched out the battery, and I mean, it wasn't the battery. It's still, it takes a second for it to go off. It all
Yeah.
depends.
No matter what you're using, though, it has to. I mean, you have to always consider your personal experience. If you're not feeling nothing and stuff's going off, then it's probably movement. If you feel something, a lot of my videos I'll ask the same questions over and over to see if I get the same answer, either on Spirit Box or with my rods. I'll repeatedly ask them at different times. But if you're feeling something and you're getting the same answer on multiple things, then it's, take it for what it is.
Yeah. Well, that's like, so you say, like, if you're not feeling anything, you're probably not getting anything. There's probably nothing there. Well, I just said you said that. That's not how you said that. You said it a completely different way, and that's how I perceived it. Kind of how I perceived it. So one thing, like, I've also, while I investigate, because I giggle, and that's when people know there's something going on. Because I'll start smirking or something. I'll be quiet because they'll say, "Oh, there's nothing here. I don't feel nothing." And when they say that, like, say, like, with my SLS camera, I have it out, and I'm still, because if you slightly move it, it can, I guess, falsify the figure. But usually the figure, after it's falsified, like, it, I guess, false flags the figure on it, it'll immediately go away 9 times out of 10 once you stop moving it. And the lady is like, "I don't feel nothing." In my last video, matter of fact, she goes, "I don't feel nothing here." She said it twice, and both times there was a figure right beside her, and I'm like, and the one in Drew's room, she said that, and it was like it was looking over her shoulder, or like bent over a little bit, trying to look or interact with the Ovilus 5 that was in her hands, which I thought was wicked. And then she set it downstairs right after a stick figure was, like, on the sitting on that, like, little cat tractor. And my wife says it all the time. She's like, "I don't feel nothing here." And so I feel energy. I don't like saying I'm an empath because I feel like everybody can. And everybody, like, I ain't gonna say everybody, a lot of people say that they're empaths, but some of them kind of go overboard with it, like they're a medium, and
Mm-hmm.
they say off the wall shit. I ain't trying to say people are fake or get into that shit, 'cause that's drama, but it's like there's always gonna be someone faking and stuff, and
Oh, yeah.
just move along past them and keep doing you. Like, just keep the drama away. Don't call people out for it, because it's just gonna cause a big stink. I mean,
Mhm.
everybody knows, who's fake or not. Just let people enjoy it, because a lot of people, like, for instance, I like the paranormal a lot. I even like watching people that fake, because I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, well, if somebody's faking this shit, why are they faking it? How are they faking it? What's their imagination like? You know what I'm saying? I like stuff like that. And then I'm like, what happens if that actually happened? You know what I'm saying? And
Mhm.
then I don't know. It's just,
They would tuck
there's a
tail and
lot that
run.
goes on. But, you know, there's just, I don't know, honestly. I say I know, but I don't know.
There's a lot that goes into it. We're always learning.
Always. And my thing is, though, is like, I love the paranormal so much. Like, I don't care if, like, a lot of people care if people faking stuff. You know what I'm saying? I don't care. That's not what gets me. What gets to me is when they go above and beyond and start doing, I guess, stuff that we shouldn't, like, even as an investigator, you know, I don't think that we should do, go out, like, so what you're struggling with, like, going up talking to somebody when a spirit comes speak with you, right?
Mhm.
Like, I um I understand that, because, like, if I was to see a spirit and the spirit was like, "Hey, I'm so and so. Over there's my mother. Can you tell my
Yeah.
mom I'm fine?" I'm gonna be like, "Oh, fuck, I don't know if I can do that," you know?
Yeah.
Because what happens if this lady thinks I'm nuts, or it sets off like a tragic type of events or something, you know what I'm saying? From me telling her,
Mhm.
I can't have that on my conscience. So
Mhm.
I would struggle with it, right? But when someone is, I'm guessing, I would say that wants to fake and gain notoriety and stuff from this,
Mhm.
and they do that, and then they go like, I don't know, above and beyond just saying, hey, you know, so and so says they're okay and they love you and they're at peace. Like if they go above and beyond past that, like they I feel like they need to stop. You know what I'm saying? Because what people don't understand is like let people that actually can interact and see like spirits, let them do that. Don't fake that because you're hurting real investigators and real mediums uh and their evidence, you know what I'm saying? And their experience. You're hurting them. And then on that, you know, you could possibly because you're not going into it with good intentions, right? You're going like that. I said that person is not going in it with good intentions, so they're going to go into it trying to manipulate this person to thinking whatever they want, right? So in the long run, they're manipulating, which I'm not for. I'm very against when people manipulate people, especially into thinking something that's not real. And then people are watching this like, well, paranormal ain't real, ha ha ha. Like, screw you, guy. But it it just blows my mind how someone can go and do all of that, you know. And then on top of that, like I've seen people not just do that, but they use it for their advantage to get like I don't know what they get out of it, honestly. But in the long run, they just emotionally screwed somebody up or manipulated them and believe in something that may or may not be true, you know? And like, I've seen an impact, I guess I could say, of some people that were led on wrongly by someone saying they were a medium that was not. And the impact of it just wasn't good. So, and you know what I'm saying? So I'm very skeptical when it comes to people saying they're mediums, but I don't disbelieve them. Like at first when Nicole told me she was a medium, I was like, okay, cool, she's a medium. You told me you was a medium, I was like, okay, cool, she's a medium. And then like other people kept telling me, and like I was like, okay at first, like I'm cool, yeah, I believe everybody, you know. But then when it was like a shit ton, I'm like, okay, there's got to be some fakes, but I'm gonna believe them until something happens, I guess. Well, what I love is how I got there's like I don't I guess I mean I do question mediums. I'm always skeptical, but it's not like I don't believe them because I do, and I don't know how to word stuff sometimes. But it and I know I'm talking like crazy, and I have you on the podcast,
You're
but
fine.
like it's just I don't even know where I was going with it because I was going too deep in thought. Oh, questioning. Like I believe them, but you know, I don't start disbelieving them or like super believing them until something happens. Like for instance, Nicole, hers was I sent a small little video. I was pretty much standing like in a bathroom doorway, looking down the hallway on. It was like in a house on the second floor, right? And I see a light anomaly just go across. So I just clip that tad little bit out. I don't go forward. You don't see anything else other than like a little, like maybe one step or two steps. Because when you go up the steps, like you got to turn and go back, like and go up like a couple more steps. But before you turn that wall, like on the other side of the wall is the bathroom, right? So I'm standing in the bathroom doorway, and the other couple steps are in front of me, and all you see is pretty much some steps, then like a door frame, and I don't know if you can see the other door frame, but you see a light on it. And I send that to her. She sends back to me, he's like, with the outline. I don't know if it was of the little boy or a little girl at the time. She shows me that, and then shows me the other one, and she's like, yeah, it was the little girl running across, or tells me it was a little girl running across, and then after watching it slowly 100 times, like I, like I see the outline, and she stopped it. She sent me like I was trying to stop it where she stopped it at, to see if I can catch the outline she caught, or I've seen if it was pareidolia. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Then she tells me, she goes, on the other side of that wall, or when you walk in that room right there where they're standing, on the wall is there a built-in shelf? And I go, I don't know. I asked my wife. She said she don't know. So I start going through more footage until I keep walking that room. And my wife, at the same time, I get to that room on the footage, walking in that room. My wife's like, "Yeah, there's a shelf in that room built in the wall as soon as you walk in." She shows me the picture, and I see it in the footage. I'm like, "That's crazy how she knew that." You know what I'm saying? Because I didn't tell her where I
Mm-hmm.
was. Nobody knew where I was. I didn't say the location of this house, but she had an experience with it, I think in a past life or something of that nature. And she like, so I believed her. So that's one medium that I can trust. She tells me something that there's no way she could have known. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And then she tells me about this gentleman in my basement. And I'm, did y'all talk about it? Did y'all
I
talk
have
about this?
never messaged her. I've only
Because I
ever
didn't,
talked to live
as I said,
stream.
I didn't ask you, but I'm gonna ask you now, just so people
No.
get that question out the way. They're like, "Well, you didn't ask her." So then you tell me about this same gentleman in my basement. Y'all describe it in different ways, but y'all describe him as the same. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Into the like, cause y'all, and what's like y'all did like the bushy eyebrows. I forgot. One said bushy eyebrows, and then somebody was like, it was. I forgot. It was just described the same way, but in two different ways. And it like, I was like, well, shit. I was like, now Amber is up there on that list of 100% I can believe, you know? And then Hawk and Brenda is up there. Um, like there's like, I got a handful now of people I can trust. But, and I've noticed too, a lot of people like to say there's something that they're not. I guess they gain notoriety in the
Mm-hmm.
paranormal world or with people. I don't understand it because it's something that they're not. I mean, I don't know why I'm keep going on about this because I already said enough. But like to me, it's like you said, we all can perceive it, but it's just like it's over the years of us, I guess, social blocking,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like I would love, like, some people say it's a gift, some people and then like me and you, we believe that all humans can do it. It's just, I guess you gotta figure out how to open that third eye.
Yep. Meditation. That's
Um,
the key to it.
my thing though is, do I want to open that third eye so I can see them? You know,
Yeah.
because I already interact with them enough where I can block them out. You know what I'm saying? I
As
can.
long as your protection's good and you know how to do that and like to, do your white light protection or whatever you do, your mirrors, whatever you do, you'll be good.
I mean, yeah, but you said at times that they was even scaring you, and
This was a long time ago though, before I knew how to protect myself.
okay,
Sometimes I still get kind of freaked out, but it just depends.
I don't know. I'm still on the, because I'm like, do I really want to start seeing them? Because like I start tearing up. Like here, like recently, I've seen. I've, I ain't gonna say recently because it was. I mean, before recent, I've seen stuff out the corner of my eye, right?
Hmm.
Recently, I'm starting to see this not out the corner of my eye, in front of my eye. And I'm like, holy crap. And like I'll tear up and I'll start like feeling, well, before I seen them, I already felt a certain type of way. But seeing them teared up, like it took tears to my eyes and stuff. And I'm like sitting back thinking, like, if I've really seen them and if I see them as the way majority mediums see them as they died, like how, like, I'm in my head, like, how will that emotionally, or how will that alter my my way of thinking. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Like, will that affect me negatively or will that affect me positively? You know what I'm saying? So that's why I'm on the fence with going down the route. But then again, I kind of want to go down that route because I want to experience it, you know. And then again, I feel like if I open up the third eye, I feel like I can close it, but I don't know. You know, I won't know
If you
until I
look
do
on
it.
my community tab on YouTube, there is one meditation I shared. It's a guided meditation. It's like 10 minutes. It's called Negative Energy Clearing Meditation. It is awesome. And she does like the white light and the chakra work. And it's so good. You would love it. Check that one out. Start out with something like that where you're just kind of like doing that every day and getting the habit of that. Because I think everybody needs to work on clearing out negative energy before you like go on to something bigger. So kind of
Yeah.
work your way up and see how you do on it, you know?
Yeah.
Do it for a week or two and see how you feel.
Honestly, I just need to start meditating every day at the beginning of it, point blank.
Yes.
Because like becoming one with yourself, you know, meditating and doing all of that, it does, you know,
And that's
it
what it's about, getting like to your higher vibration, kind of.
yeah. Like I don't know how to explain stuff. You know what I'm saying? That's my thing. And then like I feel like I can explain it that way, but then that really don't truly detailedly explain what I'm thinking, you know?
See,
And
you need to open your throat chakra, work on that. Like do some chakra work. You'll be
I
good.
I definitely do. So with your YouTube, what all do you do with and on your YouTube?
Um, Investigations. I do some videos of like me crossing spirits over. And then I do some videos that are like more informative, like talking about abilities or equipment, that kind of stuff. A little bit of everything.
All right.
I went
I
looking for
knew
jobs
this.
weeks ago.
So I knew this and but I asked the question for
Hmm.
those who I guess don't know of you as yet. I guess I don't know how to explain it. I mean, I do because I just did. But anyways, all right. Um, now you do the tarot card readings, right?
I do Oracle and
Or
Future card. I have
that's
tarot decks, but they're a little different.
see, that's of my ignorance.
Well, a lot of people don't know there's like different kinds. So
Well, I
you're
knew
saying,
of there's different kinds, but I didn't know what specific kind you
uh,
did. You know what I'm saying? Um, so what uh can you tell me which ones you do and explain the ones that you do?
so I like Oracle cards. I don't have a lot of decks of them. Um, I just use my few that I have, and those are really good for like kind of helping people with like what's going on right now, and when I do readings, I always like try to like offer advice or kind of help them through situations. I do future card readings and I use cards for that too. um I like I said, I don't do tarot. I just never resonated with them. There's like 78 cards, I think, and there's like they each have the same meaning. Oracle is not like that. I don't think I'll
Yeah.
ever remember what 78 cards mean exactly.
Yeah.
So I kind of
Understand.
choose not to do that. And then I do the mediumship readings where connect with people's past loved ones. I do a lot of those on TikTok. When I do them on my YouTube channel, I do them free. When I do them on TikTok, I charge. There's so many people on TikTok that when I was doing them free, I would have like 2,000 people in my
What
chat. And by the time I did
yes.
one reading, people were like mad, sending me messages. You skipped me, like getting hateful, reporting I'm not interested in all that. So, um, you know, and there's just a lot more people on there. Um,
Understand.
and it takes a lot of time. Sometimes I'm on there for like 3 hours and I always end up feeling like crap afterwards because it gives me headaches. It makes me feel bad after channeling people. Um, but what you were saying earlier about like, people being fake, I've seen so much of that on TikTok. I don't call these people out. They do, you do but
TikTok and Facebook are the biggest places for them. But
yeah,
I
I
love
only do
watching
Facebook
them.
like once a week.
I love
But
watching it because to me, it's entertaining, and I love entertainment. But then again, it's like, I love watching it because to me it's entertaining, and I love entertainment. But then again, it's like, I love watching it because to me it's entertaining, and I love entertainment. But then again, it's like, I love watching it because to me it's entertaining, and I love entertainment. But then again, at the end of the day, I'm not gonna bash on them because they're doing them, and it's just gonna cause drama. I don't want to be
Yeah,
part of it.
there's a medium. She follows me on TikTok. I had seen her live one time, so I like was just watching. I didn't like tap the screen and go into the chat. I just was like watching from without nobody knowing I was watching. And I'm like, okay, I've never seen this lady read, so I'm going to watch it for a few minutes. And she does a card reading for somebody, and she was like pulling these tarot cards, and she's like, oh my gosh, you keep getting this love or whatever it was, and she's like, this person you're with is absolutely your soulmate. And she goes on and does this whole reading, and then I guess the lady had typed on there that she was single. She's like, oh well, this could be reversed. We'll just reverse it and say that you're looking for this and that. She changed her whole reading, based off of. And then she goes and does a paid reading, to connect with somebody's past loved one. And she was like, she didn't ask this person who they want to connect with. And she starts talking about a person that had committed suicide. This lady knows. Well, the lady had told her, I guess, that she didn't know anybody that committed suicide. Like nobody in her family had, or none of her friends had. And then she's like, oh, well, this is probably somebody that died before you were born. And I'm like, you can't. I was just like, and she kept changing what she said. And I'm like, oh my goodness.
That's how you know they're fake. So
right.
they always.
I just kept on scrolling. I'm like, nope.
Like as soon as somebody says, well, hey, like they're going the opposite of what that lady's saying, and she just switches it up. That's like, well, then it could be like, no, come on. I know you're lying right then and there, because that's what
Usually
I do
when
if
I
I
do a
lie.
reading, I will ask them like the name of who they want to connect with. Like, who is this person to you? I'm not going to play guessing games. Sometimes people won't tell me. They'll just say whoever comes through. But even when they give me a name, a lot of times the spirits won't just be like, hey, I'm Jake or whatever. So I'll just describe what I see. I'm like, so who's the guy who's showing me a hospital bed, and he had heart problems, and he's, I'll describe what he's wearing, his hair, and I'm like, he's holding somebody's hand, and they'll tell me like, hey, as my grandpa, they just passed away recently and he died in the hospital. We were all there. Or, who's the person? Sometimes I'll feel like an impact if it was a car wreck or, whatever it might be, like the head injuries or something. And it resonates with them. And sometimes I see random stuff. Like I did a reading for somebody and I kept seeing this coat rack and it had coats hanging all over it. And I'm like, why am I seeing this? Do I tell him? So when I told him, I said, what's up with the coat rack? There's coats everywhere. And he was like, oh my gosh. He said, that's so funny you said that, because there was always a coat rack and he had so many jackets on it and he wouldn't let nobody move them. Like it just resonated with that person, even though it really didn't mean anything.
That'd be like my wife with my damn hats, because she always wants to throw them away and stuff. And like, I love my hats. I love wearing hats. She hates me wearing hats, and majority of them sit over there hanging up. And I hardly, like, I got so many, but I wear them every once in a while. You can't wear them, I guess, every single one all the time if you got so many. Mm-hmm. But see, like, I can see that, because certain small little things to you, it's like, well, why would that resonate with them? And then as soon as you tell them, there's a whole story and meaning behind it, and it's right. Like, and then
I saw squirrels in a yard, and there was people on a porch, and they were like, they had a gun and they were looking at these squirrels, and I'm like, he was like, oh my gosh, my grandpa taught me how to shoot squirrels when I was like 8 years old. He's like, that's all we did. So it's like little things like that resonate. I do get people sometimes that'll do private readings. I've had this happen twice where I'm like describing this person and they're like, I have no idea who you're talking about. So I'm like, okay, I'm doing my best to guess the age, not try to figure out, tell you the age and stuff. And I told this person, it was two people, and I'm like, okay, here's what he looks like, here's what he's saying. And she's like, oh, I don't know. And I'm thinking I'm crazy. And then 5 minutes later, she's like, oh, here's a picture. Is this who you saw? That's my ex-husband. Why didn't you tell me? Like, and I think they're trying to be, like, let's see if, right, been skeptic, but like, or they'll wait 10 minutes and be like, oh yeah, that one person. Yeah, I know who that was. I don't know why I told you I didn't. I'm like,
see, that's a lot of people don't like telling mediums or people that claim to be mediums because of people who are fake. That's another why, like, honestly, if there wasn't drama behind it and like everybody was like out the fake and stayed away from the fake, you know, I'd probably be famous for calling out people that are fake, you know. But um like I feel like honestly, I feel like fakers need to be outed and like all this, then that, and another, but not physically. They shouldn't be harmed in any way, shape, or form, mentally, verbally, physically, any type of way. They're human beings at the end of the day. They have to live and make a living too, you know. And
Yeah. See,
and
I watch
who's
that let read me too. Like, I don't want to give people my energy if I don't trust them.
yeah,
I did one time. And this lady, she seems so sweet, and she's on TikTok as well. But like, she has good energy. She's an older lady, but she talks to everybody like her and her husband. They're fun to watch. Okay. Um, she was just doing random readings, and I said hi to somebody in the chat, and she's like, okay, I'm going to read for you. And she's like, you've got this woman attachment to you, and she's negative, and you need to get rid of her. She's causing all this stuff. And she went on and did this whole reading. There ain't no negative woman attachment to me. I know that 100% with the fact, like, there's this whole thing she said was like, people in the chat were like, I'm praying for you, Amber's Paraworld. I'm like, I'm good, I promise.
yeah,
But yeah, you have to watch who you allow to have your energy. The same with like just even friends and family. If somebody does not serve your soul, like, and I mean that by like, are good for you. Okay. If somebody's not good for you, if every time you're around somebody, you have bad vibes, you're negative, you all argue all the time, you don't get along, it's always, whatever it might be, you need to get rid of them. Even if it's family, just don't hang around them. We have
yeah.
to stop trying to like let people use our energy and treat us bad in the name of their blood, or, well, you have to love them because they're family, or you can't
Love
just
them from a distance. Get them out your
right,
life. You don't
get
want
them
that.
out.
If it's that's what I all right. So this is what I tell people all the time, that I don't know why, but I feel like I'm a people's therapist at times, because people always run to me and tell me their problems. Like, honestly, I don't want to say like I give a F, because I don't, because honestly, they're my friends. Something's hurting them. They're coming to me because something's hurting them. So I'm hurt because they're hurt, you know. And they like come to me for their problems, and I tell them all the time. And when they come to me about someone that's negative in their life, and it's usually a family member, I'm like, look, I'm not telling you to push anybody out of your life, especially family or whatever. That's up to you. But what I am telling you is, if something's negative in your life, you got to get it out, or it's going to stay there, and it's going to be negative, and it's going to intensify. It's not ever going to get better, and it never will. And they was like, well, what if? I said, no, dude. I was like, out of everybody's life existence in this world, have you ever seen anything that's so negative and bad turn into positive and be good? No, it just gets worse. And people make more lies about it, more excuses. Like, and then I try to pull something up from that resonates with them, I should say, and something that resonates with them that's recent. Because if it ain't recent, I've known that people really don't care. They just won't listen to you. And then I'm like, well, if you come to me for my advice, why, if you're not going to take it, why'd you even come to me? But I'm like, I tell them, get back to the subject here. If it's negative, get it out. Because if you don't, it's just going to stay that way, and nobody's going to be happy. And then,
I did a reading in person for somebody last fall, and the cards I pulled were like, this person had a lot of negative energy. They were been angry with people, and I just told her like face to face, I'm like, you've got to watch your mouth, you've got to watch what you say, quit arguing with people, stop and think before you say things, before you say something you can't take back. And she just looked at me like, it took her a minute, like I think she wanted to be defensive, but
yes,
sometimes people need to hear that. I mean, I wasn't being rude to her at all, I was offering her advice, but you know
my
our
wife
own,
hates
we
when
have
I
to
do
watch our
that
own
to her.
children.
She always comes to me pissed off about something, and I'm like, hold on. You all right?
No, I was playing with my daughter's squishy and it just popped. She's It's everywhere.
Stuff happens. Oh man, it's already been past hour too. Dag nabbits. I felt like it was just getting juicy. Some of those are easy to clean up, and then some of them become a big mess and problem.
She wanted to cut it open, and I was like, no, because we watched a YouTube video and it was real messy and sticky, and now it's everywhere. I should have let her cut it open. Oh my goodness.
All right. Also, there's another thing I forgot already. I was wanting to ask you, but I totally forgot it. It was sitting in the back of my head. But I would like to invite you back for another one sometime because there's still a lot that we didn't get to discuss because I like to, I guess, ramble on myself.
You're okay.
But there's like, honestly, I don't want to say necessarily I want to pick your brain, but like I love having conversations with people.
Yeah, you're fine.
That's pretty much what I'm gonna be doing with my podcast is necessarily trying to learn something, but also at the same time have fun and like I guess have a good camaraderie with the person and so on and so forth. You know, just have a chat with my friends.
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna hold you any much longer. I guess I'll let you go so you can clean that mess up.
It's gonna take a while.
Yeah. Before we get off here, is there anything that you would like to let people know, or is there something that you would like to promote and whatnot?
Well, the one thing I would like, well, first of all, I think everybody should meditate. If you need help, message me and get a hold of me because I have some on my YouTubes. But also stop holding on to the past. That's the biggest thing we can do to hurt ourselves. It doesn't matter who hurt you, what happened in the past. If you're still holding on to that, the people that hurt us don't care what you feel like right now. They don't care. So you need to forgive yourself. Even if you did nothing wrong, forgive yourself for holding on to it. Write it on paper, set that crap on fire, and be done with it because you're going to keep yourself from living every day as amazing as you can. You're going to, because you're constantly worried about it. It's this nagging energy. You have to let go of that and be your best self. And you can't do that when you're holding on to stuff from the past. It's hard for people to do. Do some shadow work. It's hard to get that done, but it needs to be done. If you want to raise that vibration and be in touch with yourself, you have to do that. That's the main thing.
What she's saying is facts. Honestly, get the negative out, or it's just going to get worse or stay the same. It's never going to get better.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, that's going to be it for this show.
Thank you for having me on here.
Thank you for coming on. I would love to have you again.
Anytime, just let me know and remind me twice.
Yeah, well, I have to remind myself twice too, because I like honestly, I put it on my phone. I've got it down on the calendar in front of me. I got it written down everywhere. I have to write down everything because I forget, and it's not. And then a lot of people they get mad about that. If you forget or something, they're like, "Well, you set up the date and time and blah blah blah. You should have known. You just like it's not like that. It's just life happens." And it's not that something's more important than you or this or that. It's just life happens, you know, something happened. I had to deal with that at this certain time and point, you know, and yes, that made me forget. Just shit happens. It's not like, you know, other people haven't done that before, you know. I totally understand. I get it. You know, I don't and if like what's the point of holding a grudge over that something so small, you know?
Yeah. And also on Valentine's night and for Eastern time, I'm Eastern time. It won't start till midnight, but on that Monday night, I will be on Spaced Out Radio. I don't know if anybody's watched that on YouTube. It's there's usually about 200 people in the chat. It's live on 6 radio stations plus on YouTube. I get to be a guest on there, so I'm super excited about that. Would love to have all my fam in there in the chat. And it's about 2 hours, so.
And this is on February 14th.
14th at midnight.
And today is the 3rd.
Well, I guess technically it'd be the 13th, wouldn't it, if it's at midnight? But no, the 15th. Oh my gosh, I'm going backwards. But it's Monday night at midnight.
So, okay. That's good that you definitely specifically told them exactly what time and day it is.
Yes. I
Because
don't know about other time zones, but they won't make the thumbnail for it until like the day before. So
Yeah.
I'll share that out when I get that. But
um
I'm super excited about that one.
please do, and as soon as you share it out, or yeah, send me a message too so I can put it down in the description.
Okay.
It'll be in the description as soon as I hopefully as soon as I get it.
Okay.
And yeah, I'll if I'm awake, I will try to listen.
Yeah,
And
I
be
mean
on
it'll
it.
have like they'll have a replay of it. Like
I-
it'll be on the channel after that.
So then I'm definitely gonna be watching after. That's like a lot of people like, hey, can you be there for my thing? And I'm like, fuck, I really want to be there. You know, it's just something's, and I want to promise them it too, because as of like, say somebody was to ask me to watch them, say at a certain time later, and I don't have nothing planned for that hour that I know of, or just say I don't have nothing planned for that hour, I don't want to say yes because, you know, I don't want to have to devote my time 100% to that, or tell them yes and then something happens and I can't be there, you know, because then I gave them my word and I look bad.
Mm-hmm.
But I can 100% tell them I will watch it, and it's either going to be as they premiere it or literally half the time it's right after they premiere. Because when I'm home, um, well, I should say when my wife's home or I'm near my wife, I'm hardly on my phone. You know what I'm saying? Because
Mm-hmm.
like my wife comes first, or I'm doing something else and I'm home, my phone's put away, and people get mad. But enough of that. I've already held you. You got a mess to clean up. I keep rambling. I'm sorry.
You're fine.
Sorry. Um, make sure y'all go check her out. Her channel's out. Or YouTube. Go subscribe to her. Go follow her on TikTok. Links down in the description. And hopefully we see y'all there. Valentine's Day night at 12, right? Which
Yeah.
is
I'll be
the
doing a live
15th.
stream too on YouTube on Valentine's Day around 1 o'clock in the afternoon. I'll be doing some readings, some love readings for everybody. So
And if y'all go subscribe to her, you'll definitely be reminded. She'll remind you.
yes, hit that notification bell.
Definitely. All right. Thank y'all for watching, and thank you, Amber, for coming. Hopefully we have you on again. Maybe soon, maybe not. Who knows? Hopefully soon, because if not, I'll forget. I don't want to forget. I'll write it down. All right.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you for coming.
All right. Bye.
Bye.